Rochas Okorocha would have easily been the most suitable candidate for presidency from the south. Rochas Okorocha should have easily become the Peter Obi of now. He needed to be in Imo State 2011. Rochas was the wave. The people had rejected Igbo Hakim, who was the current governor of Imo State at that time. There was a rumor going about that Igbo Hakim had slapped a reverend father. This rumor was never confirmed, but the entire church was against the governor, and so the people felt that they needed a messiah to actually save them from this governor who did not reverence God, who did not care for the church and care for the people. And that person was no other person than Rochas Okorocha. Rochas Okorocha knew clearly the idea and the image the people of Imo State had of him. He was a philanthropist. He had his foundation that was giving free education in the northern part of the country and also in Owerri, Imo State. So he knew, he had that knowledge, and so he welcomed it and sipped fully into it. Oh, Rochas performed. Rochas would go on the street, he would sit with beggars, he would eat with them, he would hug them. Rochas would be on the streets roasting corn. If you think Sanwo-Olu performed during his second term bid to get into office, then you did not know Rochas. Rochas did a lot of performative actions. He went to church. His most favorite song at that time was "My Helper, oh, my helper." And whenever he started that song, people would cry. They would fall off their seats. Oh, the Messiah had come. People genuinely loved him, and it showed during his election. Then he was contesting under Abga. That even gave people an extra reason to like him more. He was contesting under Abga against Igbo Hakim, who was his major contender and the then sitting governor at that time. They really tried to rig the election, that is the other party, against Rochas, because the people came out in mass and voted for Rochas. Do you know what happened? The then Archbishop, Bishop Obinna, went to INEC office, stood in INEC office. Imo State youths were resident in INEC office. We had women cooking and bringing food for people there. Free of charge. People were eating, sitting in INEC office, sleeping there, just to ensure that that particular election was not rigged and Rochas emerges as the winner of the election. At the end of the day, INEC declared Rochas. He won the then Imo State governor with over 96,000 votes in difference, and he emerged as the governor of Imo State. Then Rochas came into power. Everything was good. The people of Imo were so happy. He started so many beautiful projects, particularly as it concerns education. He gave free education. He started doing free meal for school children. School children would come every single day. They would be giving free meals. Then I think every Friday or so, they will be giving stipends. Children will go to school and come back from school. They will be having 1,000 naira, 4,000 naira. They were so happy. Their parents were happy. Rochas's name kept on, moving around Imo State. The people were happy. Finally, the savior had come. But slowly and surely, the cracks started to seep in. There were so many construction projects going on. A lot of structural buildings were up. A lot of road constructions, a lot of roads. He opened a lot of roads that, were blocked before, building so much roads. But then people started to notice that these projects were not as credible as they looked. They started falling off. The roads started getting eaten by erosion. The buildings started collapsing. They were not being made with good material. What was going on? People started asking questions. Why would Rochas be doing this? Why would he be awarding projects and not looking at them carefully to ensure that these projects are of good standards? Little questions started coming up. Before you knew it, Rochas created an office and called it Office of Happiness and I think Marriage Resolution. He put in his younger sister as the commissioner for that particular office. The people of Imo State went crazy. What is going on? What is this office supposed to do? All his children had political appointments. He also put in his son-in-law as the commissioner, I think commissioner of lands at that time. Everybody began to notice that Rochas was giving projects on the whims. He could just be walking on the street and just sees your face and is happy with it and just say, okay, you take this building project and do this. Oh, okay, you are awarded with this. There was no solid plan. There was no solid proof. Everything was just It was like the state was being run on vibes and inshallah. That was when people began to notice. Before you knew it, Rochas spent so much money. I can't exactly remember the figure. I'll put it down, to get a very huge, gigantic Christmas tree during one of the Christmas period. The people of Imo State screamed, "What are you doing?" That was not enough. Rochas built a very huge hand in the middle of Owerri and said that hand is Akachi, is the hand of God. A very massive hand that was so tall you could see it from every single place. Before you knew it, Rochas started building sculptures of people. He built a sculpture of Jacob Zuma, the same Jacob Zuma who was tried and sent to prison for corruption in South Africa. Because he was Rochas's friend, Rochas built erected a tall sculpture of him in the middle of the state alongside so many other persons. Then the popular slang in Imo State became Olage, means have they molded you, have they sculpted you? Because the governor kept on building sculptures of people. Still on Jacob Zuma's matter, Rochas Okorocha constructed a road and named that road Jacob Zuma Road. People were asking questions. Why are you awarding a criminal in Nigeria? This is somebody whom his own people have rejected, but you are rewarding him in our own country. The people began to get angry. But what sealed his fate, his political fate, was when he decided that his son-in-law, Uche Wonsu, was going to take over from him. The people of Imo State went crazy. Unknowingly to Rochas, he stirred up the same emotion that the people had when they wanted to remove Ike Hakim from office to put him in. He stirred up that same emotion when he said his son-in-law was going to take over from him. Of course, the people of Imo State came again together to ensure that that goal would not be achieved. And they did it. Uche Wonsu didn't win the election, and that was it. And that was how Rochas Okorocha lost his grace. That was how he lost the people's love. That was how he lost his political foundation. I keep on saying that Rochas Okorocha could have easily been the most suitable candidate for presidency from the South. He was such a great orator. Have you listened to Rochas talk before? Rochas will talk you into selling your soul to him. Rochas was such an amazing orator. He had the people at his backing. Rochas grew up in the north, so he could speak Hausa. He knew how to communicate with them. The Northerners loved him. The Igbos loved him. He had a very good foundation to be built upon, and for him to become the next best candidate from the South. But he spoiled that. He spoiled that part. He destroyed his political career because of greed. It's a pity.